So for this video, we're going to approach the subject of dreams and what I will be referring to as the mind family. The mind family is a network of minds, some incarnated but mostly not, that all work to achieve the same goal. For example, the goal of my mind family is to heighten awareness on particular planets it's involved with and entangled with. And this perspective will probably grate people that come from a non-dualistic or idealistic kind of perspective. Just because they ventured away from materialism, it doesn't mean that they've gone all the way to fully understand the full ontological necessity for minds nested through different environments. It would be extremely impractical and a waste of energy if reality in the universe was so simple as to just experience itself. The reason for identities and personalities are to grow the larger fields and then the fields that are after that. And I'm not even sure there is an end to the constant embedding of minds. The one part that non-dualism does actually get right is that there is one ultimate bit to all that there is, and this is the fundamental bit of all there is. But all there is doesn't mean anything until it starts giving its attention to something through some observer or perspective, which then generates in the physical realm a wave. And then all matter comes from waves, and each complexity of waves has a pattern that couples with the resonating pattern of mind from the mental side. So let's get to the dreams. After you die, as before you were born, you exist as what we call a field. In physics, we call this a field. We've never actually witnessed any quantum fields, but their behavior is so predictable and so necessary that we assume to know that there are fields there. And so you, as an identity, as a personality that has memory, are a field. It is this field that is anchored to and experiencing through the filters of this body right now. As I mentioned in my previous video, there are different levels of connection from mind to body, depending on the alertness of the body. There are stronger connections and then there are weaker connections, where the mind can dislocate itself slightly, become more open to the mental layer. And in this mental layer, you are automatically entangled with your mind family. So when you're in a weaker connection to your body, your mind is more susceptible to the energies of your mind family. Every body and every living organism has a mind family. There are no exceptions to this, because there is no element of growth without the resonating level of complexity to the mind family. There are no problems to be solved. We don't just grow automatically. Things don't grow automatically. Things grow through a memory and the highest potential. And to grow the minds, we have to have experiences in all different levels. This is how the minds grow. By having a particular goal and then absorbing a section of that mind into a certain environment and through a certain filter, like a body. And then You will engage with interference information throughout the lifetime, so things will affect your life throughout your lifetime. Some of these things are higher probabilities in slightly determined natures, and some of these things are a lot less determined, so very much lower in the probabilities. And it's how you react, overcome, how you negate, how you achieve things throughout these lifetimes are what contribute to the mind family's growth. Suffering, pain, all these things have a very profound reason when you understand the full ontology of mind. And so, in the weakest connection to your body, your mind is open to dreams. Dreams are a form of intuition. Not always, but mostly, your dreams are the most direct form of intuition, where your body's mind and the alertness and all the sensory information is not cluttering the constant incoming information from your mind family. Your mind family is always connected to you and always giving you the information you need in any given moment. But it's the alertness of the waking mind that often filters, it creates a thicker filter around your mind. It's harder to penetrate. And even when it does penetrate, a lot of the times, it gets translated through the emotional and environmental state that you are currently in. So your dreams are primarily intuitive information that your mind family would like you to pay attention to. It could be anything from something that's a high probability of happening in the future, the next day, an event that you should be aware of. It could be an addictive path you've chosen to go down and explore. It could be a relationship where you have nothing to gain anymore and you are slowly just losing. It could be many, many things. Your mind family is always giving you the most optimal information you need to where you need to pay attention to in your life, in your mental and physical life. The body is literally just a representation of the mind over time, or minds, I should say. The waking alert mind has its limits on memory, future probability prediction, and such things like this due to the constant barrage of information through the senses and through your environment and the immediate physical and mental, emotional relationship aspects of physical reality to deal with. Your mind family and you yourself as an individual mind have also had multiple lifetimes in this form of physical reality. And these memories are also to be used for your intuitive benefit, to bring your attention to something relative to your current situation in your life. Another good example for dreams is trauma, deep traumas. What happens, how a trauma is created, is when you experience something that has so much emotion involved that the body's mind doesn't believe that the body itself has the capacity to feel all that emotion. And out of fear, it blocks some of these emotions from being processed through the heart. The heart is a sensory emotional processing part of the body. And when these memories do not get fully processed through the heart, they still remain in your field and in the mind family's field as a memory. It's a memory that has not been processed, it's not been felt. And this stays in your field, in what I suppose some people would call the subconscious. It is the deeper layers of your mind. And these act upon your mind and your physicality over time, unless dealt with, refound and refelt through the heart. Sometimes we have to go into deep hypnosis to even scratch the surface of some of these events that have happened that have been hidden away. They've been so traumatic that they've been buried quite deep in your field, that your waking mind won't allow to even look at these memories, out of fear that the heart could stop or something dangerous in the body could happen. This is why traumas get buried, because the mind fears the damage it can do to the heart, as the heart is the emotion sensor. And I think that's pretty much it for a basic rundown on what dreams are. It's not as complex or complicated as what psychology and psychiatry make it out to be, because they don't fully understand the ontological minds that are involved with dreaming. They think it is an internal phenomena that comes from a consciousness that they believe comes from an emergence of complexity of chemicals, which the evidence overwhelmingly points otherwise. But still, at the most minimal materialist level, dreams should at least tell us that there is an awareness, a novel experience, even when the body's alert sensory systems are on its default mode. We can only investigate the mind or minds with our own mind. We can eventually create experiments and repeat these experiments based on the work of the minds, how they create waves, how these waves create molecules, how these waves intuit growth for the highest potential of a molecular organism. But for direct understanding and communication, we need to use the point of awareness within all things. We need to use our minds. We can only investigate minds with our minds. Everything else is just an emergent property of mind, behavior, physical reality. If you made it this far, thanks for listening.